Through.
Sing out. All right. Oh shit! Yeah, I think that clapper's either by you or it's all the way in the closet.
It's not over here, my
Nope.
friend.
All right. Well, we're here.
Well, we're going. Clappy. Welcome back to another episode of Game Pop, episode 14. We are here back with another one.
Episode 14. Slackerville.
14.
I
What?
don't have a name for it. I don't know why I said Slackerville.
Huh?
I think it's because we're coming out with such a chill episode. I didn't really have a good name.
Yeah,
Besides that,
This episode is gonna be pretty quick.
no script, no nothing.
Yeah, no script. We're kind of free balling.
Really free balling.
A lot of free balling right
boxers
now.
I'm wearing, actually, I don't know what happened, but like
Okay,
the band on them is like
okay.
stretched out. It's the weirdest thing ever.
So lots of ball
It
space.
still works, yeah. So we're definitely hanging loose.
Very okay.
We're hanging loose.
We're hanging loose in both ways right now. So welcome.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us and
In your ear.
So
on the screen.
let's talk about. I want to talk about sex education that I recently started watching, and I want to talk about what you've been watching as well.
I was watching Black Summer.
Black Summer. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie. Never heard of it.
You know what? And not a lot of people have. And I feel like that is kind of the interesting crutch of this show because I don't know for a fact, but my hypothesis is that it's made by the same dudes who made Black Mirror. I'm not gonna look it up, but
Yeah.
it seems pretty cool. To me, it's way better than The Walking Dead ever could be.
Really?
It's really cool.
It's a zombie show?
It's like straight up graphic, straight up like intenser moments. Like everything that you see in the show is like, oh shit, that could like actually really happen to somebody.
Okay.
And the funny thing, the one funny thing about this show is anytime somebody gets behind the wheel of a car, it crashes. Every car gets crashed. So that's my one spoiler for you. Don't think they're going anywhere in that car except for a car accident.
Yeah, you're like nobody's getting to point A to point B.
No,
Believe
no.
in that car.
It is funny.
That's a funny thing to point out.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, every time they get in cars, they just somehow always crash.
It's so bad too because they do the thing where like they're looking to the one side and then they get hit. They do that like 7 times. But
So is that a zombie show?
it's a zombie show. It's definitely about
Okay.
zombies. It's the first season starts like right at like the beginning, kind of like right when everybody's starting to run and figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And the first season is the goal is to get to the stadium, and it's just an odd struggle from there. You know, in the zombie show, people biting other people. It's got like the same constant zombie rules. You get bit, you die, you turn into a zombie. Headshots, all that same stuff. But like I said, it's just a cool twist on it because it's just like way more graphic. It's way more like in your face of a show as compared to like The Walking Dead where it's 45 minutes of just straight talking. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And it's not even like problem solving talking. It's like, man, that nigga ate all my chips and I'm upset about it.
Yeah.
That's not The Walking Dead. That's The Walking
That's
Dead.
the whole episode, and then the last 5 minutes is action, and then it's like, all right, watch the next episode to find out what happens in the action, and then it's just the action happens for a little bit in the first episode, 10 minutes of action, and then it's okay, recoup, see the drawdown, and then you talk for the rest of the episode. Then the next episode comes out, then it's just talking, then there's some action at the end, then they do the cycle again.
Dude, you were totally reminding me of the season where Rick falls in love with the chick at the New Alexandria. He falls in love with her, but he's like, she's already married to somebody.
Yeah.
And he literally is just like stalking her the whole episode because he finds out he's abusive. Mm-hmm. Literally, that episode is just like so extra. But yeah,
I'll take care of you.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I want to bang her. You don't deserve her. There wasn't a zombie in that episode, I guarantee it.
Probably, hell no, dude. The Walking Dead, I'll tell you this, what's interesting, dude, is during quarantine I actually did go through and rewatch all of Walking Dead. I rewatched all of Walking Dead, and I got so much into it that I actually bought the latest season just because it wasn't on Netflix.
Okay.
And I was like, I just want to watch it. But I'll say this is very crazy. Once they got rid of, what's his name?
Rick, right?
Rick. Once they got rid of Rick, bro, that show
Turn back up.
got good.
Really?
It got really good. And the thing is with that show's been struggling with, especially because they were on Negan for like 3 seasons.
Yeah, I remember that.
3 freaking seasons.
I remember that.
And that's the issue with a lot of their villains because they did the same thing with the governor. It's like, dude, this is where the talking comes into play because we could make these stories go so much more quicker, but y'all just want to sit here and talk all season. You know what I'm saying? Just go over there, go to the base, have the fight.
And Negan season, or not Negan, the Governor season was actually really good, especially at the end when they stopped talking and really started getting at each other.
They were.
That was good.
Super compelling stuff. They were really good. With Andrea in there too, that part, he turned up. Once his daughter died, that mofo turned up.
There was the one with who was the second guy we were just talking about? Gosh,
Negan?
So bad. Negan. With Negan, I remember his stuff was so dragged out that one chick was like captive. They put her in a coffin and she like fake dead to just turn into a zombie.
Yeah, she's like, I don't even care.
Yeah, she kills herself in the thing so she can come out as a zombie to get the dude, and it still didn't work. And it's like, come on, we've tried everything.
It still didn't work. Yeah, right.
This guy's not going anywhere.
Have another shootout and do all this other stuff. It's like, bro, what is going on here?
I will say the Governor was definitely the scarier of the two. Of the two enemies, so those are the only two big ones I can think of, right?
He was definitely scary. I just think Negan was like cool. He was like your funny, your funny villain. He's a Joker. Yeah. Exactly. So not really scary in the way that the Governor was scary, because he was like, you just don't know what he was gonna do.
Exactly.
You knew what Negan was gonna do. He was gonna joke with you and he's just gonna kill you. It doesn't. It's just game to him. But the Governor was like, he was like legit trying to keep
over for dinner kind of shit.
Yes, he was trying to keep you civilized. He kind of reminds me of Gus from Breaking Bad. Reminds me of Gus from in that same way, to where it's like they're very businessy and they're cool, but they'll do some grimy stuff, like some very grimy stuff.
So let's compare and contrast. Is any of like the chitty chat, extra chat with your show? I mean, obviously it's not like graphic and violent kind of show.
Oh yeah, so, yeah. With the sex education?
Yeah.
Completely different shows.
Obviously, completely
of course.
Yeah.
I'll say with I don't. Not necessarily. One thing I take away from sex education is I do think the writing is really good.
Okay.
I think the writing's really good. I think all the characters have meaning, and I think they all play a role in that story. And there's a lot of talking in it, but it's all very.
There's a purpose to it.
There's a purpose for it. You know what I'm saying?
Rather than them kind of like re-rambling things that we already just seen.
Bullcrap. Yeah, The Walking Dead is just bullcrap. So much talking in that show over things like the one season with the barn. The whole season is looking for a girl, and we all know she's dead. Everybody, if you have any brain cells, you're like, bro, the girl's dead.
She's dead.
The whole
After the
season,
second day, you're like, she's dead, guys.
She's gone.
Let's move on.
Whole season, they're looking for this girl.
You're right.
People are dying left and right trying to find this girl. Turns out she's in the barn. It's like, okay, we knew she was dead, but now you're telling me she was right next to you the whole time? That's your season. That was supposed to hit us. You were supposed to hit us with. You're looking for her for 8 episodes, and she's right next to you, and that's supposed to hit.
And the only reason that we found out was because someone finally said, "I'm opening it.
Yeah.
I can't take it anymore."
Yeah, no, there's zombies in there. But yeah, freaking sex education, bro. I've heard about it. One of my friend Mitch. I remember because he reviews movies and shows and all that. He's super into all that stuff, just like us. And why this episode the show came out, I think in 2019, and I think I saw him recommending it. He was like, "Sex Education is a fantastic show." He's like, "I recommend people to go see it." Never watched it. This 3rd season just came out.
It's on the 3rd. I thought it was the 2nd.
The 3rd season just came out, so that's why there's a lot of buzz around it. And I was like, okay. And I was like, and I'm not gonna lie, I saw a hot character, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'll go check this show out, see what's up. But basically, the premise for that show is the kid, the main character, his mom is a sex therapist. Both his parents are basically sex therapists. They're divorced. His parents are divorced, but he lives with his mom. So their whole life, sex is completely normal.
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
Everything is completely normal. They're super open about it. She's like wondering why her son hasn't been jacking off yet. So she's like, all this stuff. So basically him and a friend start up a sex clinic for school. So he's basically like the love guru. Everybody comes to him and is like, why doesn't my partner dirty talk? Or I don't like to dirty talk.
Really?
And they just keep going to this kid.
Okay.
So that's the premise of the show.
And I'm sure like secrets start getting out and things like that.
Yeah. People are just like, he's the guy. Like if you're having sex problems or something, just go talk to him. And that's basically, they're getting money for it. So people are paying to have these meetings with him. So it's very fun, man. It's very fun. The kid's best friend is gay. It's just a gay black dude. He had a really powerful episode episode at one point, and I was like, that's where the writing stuff. I'm like, the writing is just so good with this show, dude. They handle everything really well, and it's very diverse too. A lot of diverse characters. Not your typical show to where everybody's white. Like there's so many different diversity in this, and it's really good. Finished the first season like one day pretty much. Started the second season I think a couple nights ago. I've only like 3 episodes and at this point where I kind of don't want to rush it, so I'm taking more of my time now, but I really like it a lot. And I definitely recommend people to watch it. The thing that did turn me off though about this show is the same thing with kind of Euphoria on HBO. Have you seen Euphoria?
I never finished it. I think I'm like 2 episodes away from the ending, but I got turned off to it. So
yeah. What was your reason? Why did you get turned off?
I want to see what you're about to say because I honestly don't remember.
The thing that bothers me with sex education is just like there's a lot of there's sex scenes in there, so you get sex scenes. And my thing is that premise, what I just told you, right? The like kid is basically he's a sex therapist. Yeah. Basically, his parents are sex therapists, so he knows all this stuff. So he just be a sex therapist for school. Why is that not a good? That's a great story for college.
Yeah,
that is a great story for college. You're in high school. All this is going on in high school. Yeah, so I'm like, this is a great thing for college. You know why? Because college, everybody's of age. Everybody, you already know what people are doing in college. They're doing the same thing they're doing in high school, but it makes more sense because these are adults that you're dealing with. So I'm just like, why do we get so many stories of these kids being in high school? You know why? Because when you're showing these sex scenes, all these characters have to be 18 and up. So I'm like, you're all adults anyway. You're getting adults to play children. And it's very giving the wrong idea, I feel, of what high school really is.
You know what's funny is you say that, and it makes me think of that one movie where the kids are trying to do like the rated R kid movie. I cannot remember what it was called. But,
the one that recently just came out with the 3 kids?
It was like the 3 kids, and they were like trying to go to a house party or something like that. And I don't remember. I never saw it, so I don't really care about it. But it's like you're right with the kid thing. I feel like they definitely try to like age and really waver that line as close as they can a lot.
For sure,
it's kind of gross and weird to see sometimes.
Yeah, I just. Me seeing it, I'm like this. I was like, yeah, we all love to have sex. We're humans, and the show really they drive that home, and I love that because even with the mom, like at some point, whatever, I'm not gonna say anything, but she's super open about sex. She thinks it's completely normal, and it is. You know what I'm saying? But I think when you're constantly. This is a show about kids in high school, and it's just about sex. Yeah. Like, sex. I need help to have sex, and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And it's just like, why does this need to be a high school show? I just don't understand that. And it just sets a bad precedent for people in high school watching these shows. And it's just like, oh, that's what everybody's doing. And in the first season, there was one scene to where the kid was talking to somebody, and he's just like, like, I know it seems like everybody's having sex, and he was like, some people are, but he's like, you go at your own pace. Like, you don't need to have sex to feel like you're in or you're cool or you're missing out on anything because everybody else is doing it. They had one scene of that in the whole show. So I'm like, and it was like one of the last episodes, and I'm like, you could have added this in somewhere a little bit sooner, because right now, if you're a kid in high school watching this show, you're like, oh, everybody's just fucking. Let me go have sex too. And it's just like, I think it's a bad thing to show. And that's kind of the same thing with Euphoria. Euphoria is way more graphic in what they do.
I feel like there wasn't a lot of nudity in Euphoria, but there was a lot of more of like real world ass stuff in there.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
A lot more real world.
No doubt. Euphoria is like, to me, just, and it makes sense because Drake freaking is a executive producer on that show, because it's very much Degrassi for this age, because Degrassi dealt with like really crazy stuff.
Yeah, the heavy depression, kind of suicide.
They dealt with it all, bro. They dealt with rape, all types of stuff. The first episode of Degrassi is about Emma. This came out in 2002 or 3, bro. Emma is emailing a teacher on a chat. She doesn't know it's a teacher, but then he invites her to the hotel room. It's one of the teachers at the school inviting, you already know he's like a 13-year-old. That's the first episode ever of Degrassi. I might have
to watch Degrassi. Not that that's like interesting at all, but I've always been curious, and I always want to know where Drake comes from, but that's...
Degrassi's so good.
I didn't realize it was that heavy.
That was the first episode, bro.
But you know what's funny is, even as a kid, I always kind of thought, man, this show is not for me. As a kid, I thought Degrassi was never a show for me. So
it's so good. Degrassi's really good, and you grow up with all those characters too.
Yeah.
You see these characters super small, and then they just get older, and then just deal with more crazier stuff as you get older. Which is like, how can you get more crazy than a teacher emailing a 13-year-old girl to come have sex with him in a hotel room? Dude, it's like, it gets crazier than that. Yeah,
what's so crazy to me is that's where Drake comes from, and there's an episode where he walks in there, isn't there? Because I know he's in a wheelchair for it.
Yeah, he walked.
Was that like an accident or?
No, they dealt with school shooting before it was even a thing.
Oh, he got shot, and that's
he got shot. A kid shot him.
That's crazy.
I don't think Drake. It wasn't like Drake was a hardcore bully, but I think he hung out with the people who like messed with this kid. Basically, he was a nerd who always got picked on. He brought a gun to school and ended up shooting Drake. So that's why he's in the Jimmy wheelchair. So yeah,
I'm definitely gonna have to check that show out. That's very
Degrassi's good. It's very dated, but it'll get better once they start growing up more.
Yeah.
Those episodes, the first ones where they're younger, it's kind of get tough to get into. But once they get older, definitely you're gonna relate to it way more.
Here's my next line of questioning. Then, how would you feel if? I didn't really have a question. I was really just trying to change the subject. I lost it so quick. Okay, here's what I was trying to ask you. As far as like character development with like the show you're talking about, compared to Black Mirror or the Black Summer show, that show, it's completely visual. Like all the character progression is like, okay, before he might have killed you, but now that you guys have spent 45 minutes together, he's actually kind of got a little like animosity towards you. He definitely wants to hang out. There's one episode where like the dude is he pretends that he doesn't know the guy, and then eventually it's like, okay, I totally know you. We like grew up in the exact same neighborhood. Yeah. So as far as that, like, is your show definitely obviously it's a lot more talking. I don't know why I'm asking that question. But it's more talking, wouldn't you say? For sure. Like, do you feel like there's a lot of character development in there? Yeah, because of the whole, like, education and teaching, huh? Because of the education and teaching thing, but they dive into, like, you know, people's... It's not fully like this, but, you know, the anthology type shows, so where it's something different each episode. This one, everything is still the same, but it basically starts with a couple doing something, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And then the show kind of goes on with them trying to figure out what's going on with that couple, etc. And that's kind of the premise. But there's like Scooby-Doo every episode. Kind of, because you're trying to figure out what that problem, what that people's issue is. Okay. But it's much more. It's much more than that. Like I said, I recommend people to watch it. Like, it is a good show. I think the writing's really well done, and at first I was turned off about the show because the first show actually was really focused on one of the bully characters. So I'm watching, I'm just like, I don't want to watch a show with a bully playing such a prominent figure, bro. Like, I just don't want to see that all the time. It's annoying. That it felt really played out to me. I was like, this bullying thing is so 90s. Like, people aren't getting bullied like this anymore. It was like give me your lunch. What do you have? And it's like, I have a sandwich. And it's like, okay, give it to me. It's like, bro, people aren't bullying people like that anymore. I was like, get this out of here. I didn't like it. It felt really dated. And then once I stuck with it, then the second episode, you start actually dealing with the main character more. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm glad it's the bully is not really the guy. But the bullying guy played a big part because at the later episodes, you found out some stuff about him. And it's like, oh, I understand why you're like that. Not going to spoil that at all. But everything it's a factor. Everything is a factor. The writing is, like I said, really well done. Everything is really good, and all the characters are really good. And I couldn't recommend it enough. I'm excited to finish the second season. I'm really bummed out that I already know I'm going to finish just this whole series really fast. I hear that. You know, I'm like, I hate that. Finding a show and you fall in love with it and you just binge it. And you're like, okay, they just released a new season, so I know I'm not going to get another one for another year and a half or year and a half earliest. So it's like, this is fun, cool. But I recommend people go see it. It's really good. No, and I like that Black Summer show. It's like I said, it's a complete spin-off from The Walking Dead. It's nowhere close to being boring. Like, every scene is kind of like a little tension. You're like, all right, literally what's going to happen next? Yeah. The show, it literally starts where homies are like trying to run and find somewhere to hide, and like they open up a door, and this dude has this whole family like tied up ropes in their mouths, and he's got a gun over them, and he's like, "Get out of here! Get out of here!" Like you can tell it was like a work discrimination or something that just like now that I have the opportunity to do this, I'm gonna do it kind of thing. It was
that sounds pretty nuts.
That's what I'm saying. It's a nuts show, and it's like all the characters are just completely. I don't know. They're out for themselves, but they'll help somebody if they need to. It's cool as fuck.
One thing with the zombie, this sounds really neat. It sounds really neat, and this with the zombie thing, bro, is that's just a genre that's never gonna get played out. I feel
you're not wrong.
It's really not, because you could tell that story so many times because it all depends on the character. As long as you like the characters and they keep the action right and you do the things, because you mentioned a stadium or something.
Yeah,
it's like The Walking Dead, they never went to no stadium.
Yeah, their goal wasn't a stadium.
You know?
Their goal, the reason they were trying to get there was because that's where the army was supposed to be at and everything. The way the series starts is the husband and the wife and the daughter are trying to get onto a military truck, and they only take the daughter on, and the husband either had already gotten bit or had something going on with him, and they didn't want to let him on, and so get out of here. Basically, they just take off with the daughter, and so the mom is trying to get there. It's the whole thing. It's a cool show. Yeah. They run into a deaf kid and a Korean chick, and it's the whole language barrier thing. To see that get broken is all right, cool. This is some cool shit. Man.
Okay,
yeah. I would recommend it if you want a cool ass zombie show. I was also thinking, since Halloween is coming right up around the corner. Oh, we do need to talk about Nintendo right after this. Okay. But since Halloween is coming up, I see us doing either a movie recommendation every time, every episode. I'd already talked about it. I definitely still doing that costume thing.
I'm down. I'm like, I really don't want to spend the money on some costumes, but
we can do some little jank half costumes.
We're gonna do it. We'll do some for y'all. Every episode. I mean, it's crazy. I think this is gonna be the last episode out before freaking October comes. Honestly.
Yeah. This might even just barely sneak in, huh? Yeah, just barely.
This one's gonna be on the 27th.
So y'all are barely. Happy October next month.
So we're out here. But yeah, okay. I'm with that. So October's going to be fun. We'll do some movie recommendations, stuff like that. There's also a lot of movies coming out next month, dude. A lot.
I was thinking we could do some scary games, some scary movies, and obviously TV shows.
Okay.
Heard.
So there'll be some reviews.
What about that Nintendo Direct? They didn't even show anything that we wanted, huh?
No.
We didn't even watch it. We just kind of looked at it.
We barely watched it. The only thing that we really saw was the casting stuff. We did kind of see that one live, and that was, I think, ridiculous.
So this is for the casting for the new Mario movie they're making.
A Mario movie.
It's animated, you said, too?
It's animated. It's made by the people who made Despicable Me. So it's that company.
Really?
Yep.
That'll be at least somewhat interesting, their style, but...
You know it's not going to be bad. Yeah, you know the animation won't be bad. But it's freaking...
Chris Pratt is playing Mario.
Chris Pratt is Mario, bro?
Charlie Day is Luigi.
No.
Jack Black is Bowser.
You got Keegan-Michael as Toad. Why does Toad need a voice?
Toad doesn't have a voice. All he does is...
I don't feel like Toad would ever have a voice. That's just me. I don't know. Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. So that's not too far-fetched.
That will be funny, though.
That one is not too far-fetched at all.
Seth Rogen as DK has got to be a little bit funny.
That's going to be interesting, for
If the laugh isn't there, it's not right.
You know he's going to do that laugh, of course. They're Seth Rogen. This cast is nuts. And then you have Anna Taylor-Joy. I actually like her as an actress, as Peach. She's probably just going to get kidnapped for the whole movie, so we're probably not going to really see her. But
I'm wondering if they're going to adapt the characters themselves, like Mario or whatever, to more of the character that's playing them. You see what I'm saying? Make Mario a little more edgy, Day of Tomorrow kind of style, and Charlie Day kind of Luigi.
Funky.
Because a Jack Black Bowser would be kind of interesting.
It doesn't sound too bad.
It sounds funny.
There's something about Jack Black. I love that dude.
Yeah,
I love Jack Black.
I feel like he can't do anything wrong.
You can't. He's a good guy. He's just a good guy.
He's a cool dude.
He's a good guy. School of Rock is a classic. That's one of my favorite movies. Yeah.
Did you watch that as Jablinski Games?
I remember I saw a little bit of it. His YouTube is definitely a big thing when that first came out.
I don't know why he stopped doing it. He was definitely getting something off of it, I feel like.
It's probably like not enough money. He's like, damn, this is pennies. It's just pennies for what I'm making. But they also, Nintendo is adding N64 games to their online service, which is really cool. It's very funny that they're adding in Mario N64, Super Mario 64 for free for the service after they just put in a collection for $60. That's probably this is a kick in the face to Nintendo again. It just shows the laziness because it's like you could have remastered that game, sold it in that package, it would have been fine. Nobody would have said anything. You know why? Because you remastered a classic, awesome. And then you could have just put the original with this. That makes sense. Okay, if you
did they remaster as the free one?
No, the free one is still the OG normal one, the same one you got in the package.
Okay.
So it's like you could have remastered that game and sold it.
Yeah.
And nobody would have complained.
Yeah.
Nobody would have complained. I don't understand. I would have loved that game to be remastered, bro, in the way that Odyssey looked. Like, come on.
Sometimes I feel like with games, I feel like they are literally testing us. Do you remember way back when pre-orders first came out, homies like, don't pre-order the game because then that just gives them time to be slacking about it.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And I feel like that became a thing. I think that was absolutely true. Yeah. And I think that's still such a thing to now where it's like when you talk about Nintendo games, their value in those games never goes down. That thing will be $60 for forever, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that they dropped that to $0 to free, that makes no sense to me. So that's clearly a quick, hey, we tried to get the last $60 out of it. All right, it's old enough. We're clearly not making any more money. Y'all can have it now.
This is it. This is it for it.
Yeah.
Nintendo, man, I don't know. The Metroid Dread's coming out. I don't think they
want that.
They didn't show any at this press conference, I believe. But Metroid, I'm definitely gonna pick that one up.
I'm worried though because I think I'm gonna end up buying a Switch just purely for that game, and that'll be the second time I've bought a Nintendo Switch just for a game.
Hey, that's the Nintendo magic. That's Nintendo magic right there.
I guess I'll just try that super hard not to sell it this time.
I freaking bought Zelda Skyward Sword and haven't played it. Haven't even gotten to the start screen yet.
I feel like you don't ever play your Switch. Is the thing.
I do. I do play it sometimes. It's just like I've been playing. I beat the Bowser's Fury thing came out.
Oh, you beat that?
I beat the original. I beat the original piece of game. And then Bowser's Fury, I still haven't finished. I think I'm on that last leg. Like I need to get like 10 more stars. And then I do my final boss, my final boss fight. But I'm right there. I'm right there. I was just playing it a couple weeks ago. But I'm just not a big Zelda fan. So I'm not a big Zelda fan. If it comes to Mario, I'm gonna play me some Mario. But Zelda, I bought it because it was just like, all right. They said this one is more linear, so it's easier for newcomers.
The Swordmaker one?
The Skyward Sword one.
Oh, yeah. Skyward Sword.
They said that one is very like linear, and I'm like, that's what I need for a Zelda thing. I need this game to be my entry point and to see what's up, and then maybe I'll just hop into Breath of the Wild and be like, okay, this is sick. Like I see it, I get it.
The thing with Breath of the Wild though is it's kind of a shell of what I feel like a Zelda game could be because it doesn't really have a narrative. It's literally just like, all right, here's a world we're created. Go have fun.
Just go do whatever you want.
Yeah. And it's definitely cool. It's still a great game. I love it. Yeah, I'd buy the Switch again just for that game. But you're kind of right. Like, what's the one before? Like Majora's Mask or even the 64 one.
Yeah.
Link to the Past. Those ones are good because they had that free world element, but there still was narrative to it. You still had to. There was a reason why you're going to this temple and that temple and that such. You know.
Yeah.
This one is like pure exploration. So I think you will end up liking that one.
Yeah.
But I think you should stick with the ones that have some narrative if that's your style.
For sure. Yeah. No. That's definitely my style for the narrative ones. And I was playing the freaking what's the one that just came out? I think it's Link's Awakening. The one that they remastered.
That one's cool.
I'm playing it and I'm like, I'm over here. I'm feeling dumb because I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah. See, that one is like too not holding your hand, but it's one of those ones where you have to talk to every character, and every character will eventually go, yeah, that mountain over there sure seems to have some kind of secret. And
go like, do this. Where?
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, once I got to that point, I was like, oh, this is like a legit old game because that's how you used to have to do things.
Yeah.
And once I kind of got that part, I was like, this is cool. I was like, I do like that where they're like, oh, the old lady needs her dog walked. And you just have to go to the dog and then you do this. And it's like, oh, I heard the dog likes his walks over there in that forest. And you're like, okay, so I go over here, do this. And it's like you find out something else. And I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah.
I do like that.
No, that's definitely nice because I think of anything compared to like playing Skyrim. or Oblivion or any of those games where it literally puts the pointer on the top of the cursor and you're just following the pointer. So I think that is a way funner style because it still is like, hey, go figure out how to play our game because there's a whole story to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
But
have you ever played Splinter Cells?
I played a couple, but never got big into them.
I said Splinter Cells, but what I really meant to say was Metal Gear Solid.
No.
I've never played any of those.
The only Metal Gear, I think I played like the first 5 minutes of Phantom Pain, and that was it.
That new one that was like free?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. No, that's it.
That's the episode, y'all. Well,
that's a wrap.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.
We love y'all.
This was a little quick one. Please download, comment, subscribe. Help us grow, please. And give us some feedback, and we'll keep it pushing. This one was definitely a little on the lighter side, but we'll come back next week. Excited. Let's go.
Deuces.